Hello, this is Trade Misconception. This is the channel where we put our misconceptions on the table and we trade them for knowledge and seek out the truth. Now let's get started. In the world in general, and particularly in America. So I wanted to get started to talk about these topics right now. I wanted to start with talking about the George Floyd murder and the protests that resulted of it. I think we can all agree that it was a terrible thing what happened to George Floyd. I think we can all agree that they need to charge the officers with murder and, aiding and abetting in murder as well. Yeah, that needs to definitely happen. But I wanted to get deeper into the conversation. I wanted to discuss some of these corporations coming out in support of this movement and, what I feel their intentions are behind their support for this movement. Now, I don't want anyone to get fooled by these corporations that are coming out and doing their, virtue signaling for this movement. I feel like they are just trying to divert the attention away from, the economic situation, the fact that a lot of these players that are high up in these corporations made some terrible financial decisions and expect the government, aka the taxpayer, to bail them out of their bad decisions, which is ultimately going to make the government start to intervene in all of these crises that will be coming up in the future. So it's pretty much now you have these corporations that are dependent upon the government bailing them out of their terrible decisions. And guess what? They probably won't learn anything from this. I mean, how could they? I mean, if you know that you can go ahead and start making money hand over fist, but you can have someone bail you out of your bad decisions down the road, what incentive is there to change your behavior? I mean, we could see this, as far as like just enabling bad behavior, with one of your family members. I mean, that's kind of an analogy to what is going on with this whole situation. I also wanted to discuss about the media fanning some of these flames right now, some of these tensions. They know what they're doing. I mean, the thing is, the media always has to go for the more sensationalized headlines, so that's where they're going to go with all this. So, I mean, you'll see them talk about the looting of businesses, the rioting, and all that, which is all terrible in my opinion. But we didn't really hear them talk about the looting of the economy by Wall Street and the Federal Reserve. I mean, that's kind of weird. I mean, now you have the Federal Reserve expanding their operations.
The Federal Reserve is there to essentially prop up the asset classes and pretty much preserve the wealth of the owners of these asset classes. And this could be to the detriment of the average American citizen because this will increase the inflation of these asset classes. But that's the big role of the Federal Reserve now, is to prop these asset classes up and maintain the wealth of the people that are holding these assets.
With increasing scope of the Federal Reserve and how they are pulling out Wall Street, this problem is just going to get a lot worse coming up in the future. We already have, some states in the country that are going to have major issues funding their pension programs. For instance, California and Illinois, they're going to have some major issues coming forth with mismanagement of their pension programs, which is going to cause a major problem down the road. Now, I wanted to pretty much discuss how a lot of the problems that we're experiencing are economic at root, but do know that a disproportionate amount of people who are affected by these economic issues are people of color. It's kind of just masking itself in that direction. So I wanted to kind of go over the numbers. We can see that the labor force participation rate has been on a steady decline for the past 20 years. Even going further back than that, I think it peaked in the 90s. But this is a major issue for this country, and we never really fully recovered from the last recession in 2008. And this is kind of what's being covered up right now at the moment. I also wanted to show the Fed's fund rate. So what we have, we've been at historic lows for the Fed fund rates for quite some time. Ever since the recession, we haven't bounced back. You could see where the Fed fund rate started dropping, got really low in 2014, 2013, all that. They started raising the rates starting in 2016 and started raising them up. Well, June 2019 was pretty much when they started making the shift to start lowering the rates, because they felt that there was going to be some economic problems on the horizon by the Fed raising the rates at that moment. So we are not in a stable, healthy economy if raising the rates and offloading some of the bonds that the Federal Reserve has bought, is that detrimental to our economy? Could we really say that it is stable? It is clear from this chart that they had to start lowering the rates again back in mid-2019 in order to keep the economy afloat. That to me is not a comforting fact to know. And right now we are at 0.05% federal funds rate. That is insane. At this point, I would not be surprised if we end up dipping into negative interest rates. We know that President Trump, he has discussed some other countries and their negative interest rates. So it sounded like he was a fan of them. So that's something to worry pretty much anyone who wants to save their money, because at that point they're going to make the interest rate negative, where you're pretty much going to have to put your money into stock markets or anything that will keep up with inflation and where you won't lose your money in the long run. So I wanted to get back to the discussion of the riots that are going on in some cities right now. I feel like this is going to be used as an excuse to usher in some sort of authoritarian rule. And I'm very deeply concerned about that. I feel like honestly, it's hard not to think that there are some people that are instigating these riots who know exactly what this will bring about. And that is something that is deeply concerning to me. It should be deeply concerning to pretty much anyone who cares about, the freedoms that we have. So yeah, I wanted to get to the point of these larger corporations that are getting behind the Black Lives Matter movement. I feel like they're playing this strategy right now where they're going to divert your attention. They're going to have you, they're pretty much having the sides cut out right now. They're having one side being like, well, they support our movement, they support our cause. It's great. I want to do business with them. And the other side is pissed off that these corporations are coming out and speaking on political manners. Pretty much the way I feel is they are speaking out because they want to divert your attention away from the fact that shutdowns killed these small businesses. Some of the rioting and looting killed these small businesses. And they're there to pretty much pick up the pieces and start to gain a greater amount of wealth than they already have. I mean, we have seen one of the greatest transfers of wealth in this country. It doesn't surprise me that Amazon would be supporting a lot of stuff that is going on right now. That would not shock me at all. I mean, they are making a killing off of everything that is going on right now, off of people staying in their houses and not doing business outside their houses. So yeah, these are pretty crazy times that we are living in right now. And another thing is these corporations are now coming out in support of this movement, a movement that is pretty much aligned with the political left. Well, I mean, think about it this way. They're coming out in support of this movement. They are cozying up to the political left. Well, I can't help but think that they are cozying up to the left by supporting this movement, but they're diverting their attention away from, underpaying their employees, maybe not giving them any sick leave through this time that we've gone through, and just other general abuses that they have made, whether that be from the bailouts or just the way that they treat their employees. So I just want people to know, don't let them divert your attention. Don't fall prey to their marketing gimmicks, because that is all just a ploy to get you to forget about what they have been doing and how they have been affecting the economy and the average American worker throughout Years. I mean, it's been quite some time that they've been doing this. All these abuses and killing small businesses. So, yeah, please don't let your attention be diverted. Don't let the media divert your attention. And don't let them divide us, because that seems to be something that they are doing a good job at the moment. So don't buy into their stuff, because the media is beholden to these corporate interests as well. I feel like they want a division at this point. They don't want the people to come together and feel that we have more similarities than what we do, and overlook our differences and work towards a common goal of getting our economy back and functioning for the average individual in this country and for the greatest number of people. So, yep, I just wanted to get this information out there, and I wanted to make everyone aware of my opinions on how I feel, what is going on right now, and just wanted to warn people that don't let them divert your attention. They are doing some crazy things behind the scenes, and they will continue to do this if we don't hold them in check. Alright, well, I wanted to thank you, and please leave your